Good day, everyone. Today we're going to discuss a lesson from Mathematics 8, Quarter 2, which is determining the inverse, converse, and contrapositive of an if-then statement. By the way, I am Maria Jerlyn Artureja, a Teacher 3 from Catanduanes National High School. So, our lesson objective for today is, at the end of this lesson, you are able to determine the hypothesis and conclusion of a given conditional statement, and you are able to write or determine the converse, inverse, and contrapositive of a given conditional statement. Before we have our discussion, let's have first a recall. This recall is from your previous lesson, which is about an if-then statement. What is meant by an if-then statement? Do you remember? Very good. So, an if-then statement is a conditional statement written in the form if P, then Q, where P is the hypothesis and Q is the conclusion. Now, how do you write the if-then form of a given statement? Nice. To write the conditional statements, they are formed by joining two statements with the word if and then. Let us have now definition of terms. The first term is conditional. So as I have said, conditional statement is written in the form if P, then Q, where P is the hypothesis and Q is the conclusion. The next one is the converse. Converse is the statement which is formed by interchanging the hypothesis and the conclusion of a given conditional statement. It is written in the form if Q, then P. So as you can observe, if our conditional statement is if P, then Q, pagdating sa converse, mababaliktad yung position ng P at ng Q. So magiging siyang if Q, then P. Malinaw po ba? Magaling. So, let us now proceed with the third term, which is the inverse. When we say inverse, it is a statement which is formed by negating both the hypothesis and the conclusion of a conditional statement. So, it is written in the form if not P, then not Q. The last one, we have the contrapositive. It is a statement formed by interchanging the hypothesis and the conclusion of a conditional statement and negating both. It is written in the form, if not Q, then not P. By the way, when we say negating, it's getting the opposite of the meaning. Okay, let us now proceed with the first example, learning situation number 1. So, in this learning situation number 1, we are going to determine the converse, the inverse, and the contrapositive of the given conditional statement. So, what is our conditional statement? Okay, this is statement, if today is Monday, then tomorrow is Tuesday, we're going to use this to determine the converse, the inverse, and the contrapositive. Okay, so this is an example of a conditional statement. So, sa conditional statement, meron po tayo ng hypothesis at ng conclusion. Before we can determine the converse, the inverse, and the contrapositive, let us first identify the hypothesis and the conclusion. Now, what is meant by hypothesis? Do you have any idea? Yes. When we say hypothesis, this is the clause after the word if of the conditional statement. So, where is the word if in our sentence? Very good. Now, what is the clause after the word if? Nice. This today is Monday is our hypothesis. What about the conclusion? When we say conclusion is the clause after the word then of a conditional statement. So, do you see the word then? Now, what is the clause after the word then? Very good. tomorrow is Tuesday is our conclusion. So in this module, we're going to use P for hypothesis and Q for conclusion. Okay, let us now identify and determine the converse. When we say converse, if Q, then P, or we are going to interchange the hypothesis and the conclusion in our conditional statement. So we have if, okay, yung Q natin mapupunta sa unahan. So magiging if tomorrow is Tuesday, yun ang ating Q. Then, okay, so ang today is Monday, mapupunta sa hulihan. Then today is Monday is our P. Therefore, our converse statement is if tomorrow is Tuesday, then today is Monday. Nasundan po ba? Okay, proceed na tayo sa next. To find the inverse, which is if not P, then not Q. So, may word na tayo dito na not. Ibig sabihin, nagne-negate na po tayo. We are going to negate the hypothesis and the conclusion. So, please, sundan ang example natin para makuha nyo yung step-by-step na procedure on how to write the inverse of our conditional statement. Let's start with the today is Monday. So we're going to find the not P. If our P is today is Monday, therefore our not P is today is not Monday. As easy as that. And then let's have tomorrow is Tuesday is our Q. Our not Q is tomorrow is not Tuesday. Nasundan po ba? Nice. Now, let us determine and write the if not P, then not Q, or the inverse statement. If today is not Monday, then tomorrow is not Tuesday. Therefore, our inverse statement is if today is not Monday, then tomorrow is not Tuesday. Nasundan po? Okay, proceed na tayo sa last one. Contrapositive. So, it is in the form if not Q, then not P. There are three ways of writing the contrapositive of the statement. The first one, to negate both the hypothesis and the conclusion of the conditional statement and interchange them. Or, number two, to negate the converse statement if meron na tayo ng converse statement. And pangatlo, to interchange the hypothesis and conclusion in the inverse statement. Again, if meron na tayo ng inverse statement. Pero kung wala pa po ng converse statement at ng inverse statement, yung way number 1 ang magagamit natin. Malinaw po ba? Okay, subukan natin ang unang paraan. To negate both the hypothesis and the conclusion of the conditional statement and interchange them. Conditional statement, if today is Monday, then tomorrow is Tuesday. So, we know that our hypothesis is today is Monday and our conclusion is tomorrow is Tuesday. So, to write the contrapositive, if not Q, then not P is our format. Let's have first get the negation of our Q statement. So, if our Q is tomorrow is Tuesday, our not Q will be tomorrow is not Tuesday. And then, for our P, today is Monday, our not P is today is not Monday. Let us now write the contrapositive. If tomorrow is not Tuesday because that is our not Q. Then, today is not Monday because that is our not P. So, therefore, our contrapositive statement is, if tomorrow is not Tuesday, then today is not Monday. Nasundan po. Very good. Now, let us proceed sa pangalawang paraan kung paano isulat ang contrapositive, which is to negate to negate the converse statement. So, this will be useful if meron na tayo ng converse statement. Okay, our converse statement is if Q, then P, which is, if tomorrow is Tuesday, then today is Monday. So, to write the contrapositive, una nating kukunin is the not Q. So, our not Q is, tomorrow is not Tuesday. And then, our not P is, today is not Monday. Let us now write the contrapositive. If tomorrow is not Tuesday, then today is not Monday. If tomorrow is not Tuesday, then today is not Monday. Nakakasunod po. Let us have the last way, which is to interchange the hypothesis and conclusion in the inverse statement. Okay, our inverse is if not P, then not Q. By the way, magiging helpful po ang way number 3 if meron na tayo ng inverse na statement. So, kung wala pa tayong inverse na statement, better use the first way. Okay, so this is our inverse. Let us now write the contrapositive. If not Q, then not P. Okay, if tomorrow is not Tuesday is our not Q, so siya ang idudugtong natin sa ating if. And then, today is not Monday is our not P. So, siya ang idudugtong sa ating then. Ayan. So, therefore, our contrapositive is, if tomorrow is not Tuesday, then today is not Monday. Malinaw na po ba? So, kahit alin po dun sa tatlo, makakakuha tayo ng pare-pareho lang na sagot. Depende na lang yun sa sitwasyon kung alin yung gagamitin nyo. Kung meron na kayo ng converse, gamitin nyo ang way number 2. Kung meron na kayo ng inverse, gamitin nyo ang way number 3. Pero kung parehong wala pa, yung way number 1 po ang mas maigi na gamitin para mahanap ang ating contrapositive statement. Okay, let's now have our summary of answers. So, for our conditional statement, ang given natin is, if today is Monday, then tomorrow is Tuesday. And, para naman sa converse statement, we just interchange the Q and the P. So, we have, if tomorrow is Tuesday, then today is Monday. And then, for our inverse, if today is not Monday, then tomorrow is not Tuesday. And for the contrapositive, if tomorrow is not Tuesday, then today is not Monday. So, that is our answers. Nasundan po ba? So, para mas malinawan kayo, bibigyan ko kayo ng another na example. Sundan po, tingnan, at intindihin ng mabuti. Okay, for learning situation number 2, ganun pa rin, we are going to determine the converse, inverse, and contrapositive of the statement. So, ano yung statement na gagamitin natin? Okay, ito yung statement. If a triangle has no equal sides, then it is scalene. Katulad nung kanina, before we can write the converse, inverse, and contrapositive, we should first identify the hypothesis and the conclusion. Naalala ba yung kanina? When we say hypothesis, it is the clause after the word if. And when we say conclusion, this is the the clause after the word then. So, a triangle has no equal sides is the clause after the word if. Therefore, that is our hypothesis. It is iskalin is the clause after the word then. So, ibig sabihin, siya ang ating conclusion. Magaling. Let us proceed in writing the converse of that statement. So, if Q then P, babalitarin lang po natin yung P at yung Q ng ating conditional statement. So, magigilang if ang ating Q ay it is iskalin. Idudugtong siya doon sa if. So, magiging if it is iskalin. Then, ang ating P ay a triangle has no equal sides. Idudugtong siya doon sa word na then. So, magiging a triangle has no equal sides. Therefore, our converse statement is, if it is iskalin, then a triangle has no equal sides. But, bakit kaya may ganyan? May eke. So, ibig daw sabihin, mali yung sagot natin. Paano nangyari? Let us review. Nasaan yung ating Q statement? It is iskalin. Nasaan yung ating P statement? A triangle has no equal sides. Pero, bakit kaya nangyari na ang sagot natin ay mali? Okay, let us remember this one. Even if we interchange the hypothesis and the conclusion, we must not violate the correct syntax of writing a noun and its antecedent. Ano po ba ang syntax of writing a noun and its antecedent? So, eto yun. When we say syntax of writing a noun and its antecedent, it means we should follow the order or arrangement of words or phrases to form a proper sentence. So, this is your lesson in English subject. The most basic syntax follows a subject plus verb plus direct object formula. So, to form a proper sentence, you should mention first the subject or the antecedent, then the noun that denotes the subject or the antecedent. In our case here, our subject is triangle, and the noun that denotes the triangle is the word it. So, dapat, unang i-mention yung word na triangle kaysa doon sa it. Therefore, our correct answer is, if a triangle is iskalin, then it has no equal sides. Malinaw po ba? Magaling. Now, let us proceed with our inverse. Our inverse, if not P, then not Q. So, we have to negate the hypothesis and the conclusion. Let us negate first our hypothesis. For the not P, that will be, a triangle has equal sides. O, ano lang yung ginawa natin? Okay, take note. To get the negation of a statement with the words no, not, cannot, and similar words, we simply remove these words. So, kung ang ating hypothesis is a triangle has no equal sides, ang atin naman na negation sa kanya ay a triangle has equal sides. Ininegate po natin. Okay? For our Q, we have not Q. It is not iskalin. Let us now write the inverse of that statement. If a triangle has equal sides, then it is not iskalin. Lastly, we will determine the contrapositive of the given conditional statement by negating both the hypothesis and the conclusion of the conditional statement and interchanging them. You can also use the other two ways I've discussed a while ago for the learning situation number 1 as long as meron na tayo ng converse at ng inverse. So, in this example, we're going to use way number 1. Contrapositive, if not Q, then not P. So, we're going to negate our Q, not Q, which is, it is not iskalin. And then negate our P, not P, which is, a triangle has equal sides. And then, we're going to interchange. So, let's write. If, unahin natin idugtong yung not Q. So, it is not scalene. Then, our not P, a triangle has equal sides. Do we have our correct syntax in that sentence or statement? No. So, our answer, if it is not scalene, then a triangle has equal sides is wrong. Because it must follow the correct syntax. So, ano ba dapat? Our correct answer is, if a triangle is not scalene, then it has equal sides. Very good. Okay, for the summary of our answers, we have conditional statement. If a triangle has no equal sides, then it is scalene. For the converse, babalik na rin lang. If a triangle is scalene, then it has no equal sides. And for the inverse, ininegate natin, if a triangle has equal sides, then it is not scalene. And for the contrapositive, if a triangle is not scalene, then it has equal sides. So, kapag nag-interchange po tayo ng hypothesis at conclusion, be sure po na gagamitin natin yung correct syntax or yung arrangement ng ating antecedent at yung noun na nagde-denote sa antecedent. Malinaw na po ba? Okay, so let us now proceed. Learning situation number 3. So, in learning situation number 3, you are going to write or to determine the converse, inverse, and contrapositive of the given conditional statement below by answering the easy, average, and difficult level activity. So, our statement is, if you always play Mobile Legends, then you are distracted from your studies. Okay, for the easy level, you're going to identify the hypothesis and the conclusion of the given statement. So, you're going to start now. Okay, naalala ba? Ano ibig sabihin ng hypothesis at conclusion? Okay, when we say hypothesis, it is the clause after the word if. How about conclusion? It is the word after, the clause after the word then. So, do you have now your answer? Okay. Check your answer if you got the correct answer. Hypothesis is, you always play Mobile Legends. Do you have the same answer? Very nice. For our conclusion, you are distracted from your studies. Pareho po ba ng sagot nyo? Kung ganon, you get the correct answer. Let's now proceed with the next level, which is the average level. So, what are you going to do? To determine the converse of the conditional statement. Ano lang po yung gagawin nyo para ma-determine yung converse ng conditional statement? Okay? So, habang nagsasalita ako, susulat nyo na po yung sagot nyo sa converse para ma-check natin kung tama ba yung sagot nyo after ko mag-explain. So, paano nyo kukunin yung converse? Okay, so you're just going to interchange the P and the Q from the conditional statement. So, do you have now your answer? Please check if you got the correct answer. Our converse is, if you are distracted from your studies, then you always play Mobile Legends. Tama po ba yung sagot ninyo? Magaling. Let us now proceed to the next level, which is the difficult level. So, what are we going to do? You're going to determine the inverse and contrapositive of the conditional statement. So, paano gagawin yung inverse? Start na kayo magsulat ngayon. Okay, to determine the inverse, you are going to negate the hypothesis and the conclusion. Tapos, kapag may inverse na kayo, madali na pong kunin ang contrapositive because you are just going to interchange the hypothesis and conclusion in the inverse statement. Let us check your answer. Our inverse is, If you do not always play Mobile Legends, then you are not distracted from your studies. Do you get the same answer with this? Therefore, you get the correct answer. Now, write the contrapositive of your conditional statement. Okay, so ipa-flash ko na. Our contrapositive, if you are not distracted from your studies, then you do not always play Mobile Legends. Nakuha po ba ng tamang sagot? Very good. Okay, let us have practice tasks. Practice task 1 and practice task 2. So, sa practice task 1, you are going to determine the converse of the statement given. So, ang statement natin, if a person is honest, then he does not steal. Sa practice task 2, you are going to write the inverse of each statement by observing the correct syntax. So, I am giving you just 2 minutes to write. 2 minutes lang po. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so habang nagsusulat kayo, magsasalita ako dito. To determine the converse of the statement of the given conditional statement, kailangan po malaman o ma-identify nyo muna kung alin yung hypothesis at yung conclusion. So, when we say hypothesis, eto yung yung clause that follows the word if. Samantalang yung conclusion, this is the clause after the word then. So, pag na-identify nyo na yung hypothesis at yung conclusion, madali nang isulat yung ating converse kasi i-interchange lang natin sila. So, kung ang ating conditional statement is if P, then Q, pagdating sa ating converse statement, babalik na rin lang, so magiging if Q, then P. Okay, siguro naman may sagot na po kayo sa practice task number 1. Now, let us have practice task number 2. Okay, by the way, dapat pag nagsusulat tayo ng mga statement, see to it na nasusunod pa rin yung correct syntax or yung arrangement ng antecedent at ng noun. Okay, so for practice task 2, you are going to write the inverse of the statement. So, ininegate lang yung hypothesis at yung conclusion. Okay, so we have 3 statements there. Okay, anong oras na? Okay, malapit na po. We have only 15 seconds na lang. So, kapag nag-flash na ako ng answer dyan, you're going to check your answers if you get it correct. Pag hindi naman nakakuha ng correct, you can replay this video bago kayo sumagot ng assessment para po makakuha kayo ng mataas na score. Okay, time is up. So, please check your answers kung tama. Okay, so this is our answer key for practice task number 1 and for practice task number 2. If meron po kayo ng nakuhang mali na sagot, you can review our video from the beginning or kung saan lang kayo nagkamali para ma-recheck nyo po yung sagot ninyo. Malinaw po ba? Okay. So, let us have a summary of our discussion. If our conditional statement is if Q then P, ang notation niya, P implies Q. So, para sa converse statement, babalik na rin lang natin yung position ng P at ng Q. Magiging siyang if Q, then P. And for the inverse, if not P, then not Q. Lastly, for the contrapositive, if not Q, then not P. Malinaw po. Okay, so this is now your assessment. Your assessment, you are going to write the converse, inverse, and contrapositive of the given if-then statements below. You're going to write your answer at a clean white pad paper. And you're going to submit your answer on the next retrieval of your answer sheets. Thank you and Good luck!